Hello again, YouTube friends. Dustin Bellinger here. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. It is Christmas morning actually here when I'm filming this. I don't know if I'll get it uploaded today, but maybe. If I do, anyway, Merry Christmas. And if it's after, well, still Merry Christmas, I guess, but belated. Anyway, it my wife works as a CNA, and she had to work today because, hey, our aging veterans and VA nursing homes still need people to care for them, even if it is Christmas. And she had to be up and to work by 6 a.m. this morning, so Christmas morning here is a little bit different in the house. The kids and I got up. They got to see the video games that Santa got them and the stuff in their stockings. So they spending a little time this morning putting a puzzle together and playing their new video games. And while they're doing that, I thought, oh, this is a good time to make some content until the wife gets home, and then we'll have, the full Christmas celebration this afternoon. So, anyway, I'm doing this as a response video for the Ticket Leprechaun. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this channel. If not, check him out. A very good guy. And, very active here in our hobby and community. And he wanted us to do a video here for a contest he was hosting with cards with some stories. And I had a hard time just picking which card and which story I might try to tell, because I'm a long-winded guy, and if I do more than one, the video will end up being like 3 hours long, and we just can't have that. But this here is my childhood Griffey card. Now, obviously, you all know 89 Upper Deck. Well, anyway, back in the day, when this card came out in '89, I grew up in a small town, and we didn't have a LCS or a hobby store where I lived. And so acquiring, a Griffey card, from the Upper Deck was hard because we didn't have access to the packs very well. I remember a guy who was in high school, so I would have been, like 5th, 6th grade at the time. And he was in high school, and he had bought a pack, or a couple hobby boxes from somewhere, and so he was selling them at the local swimming pool. It kind of is like a little side gig and a markup. And I bought a couple packs from him, and I didn't get the Griffey that I was wanting. I ended up having to wait maybe a year or two later, and my family and I were on vacation over Christmas, actually, in Arizona, and we asked them to go to a card shop, while we were there in Arizona, just so I could browse a little bit. And there was one of these in the display case for $35, which was the Beckett book value at the time. And I had a paper route, so I actually had, pretty good money for, 11, 12, maybe it's 13. I can't quite remember exactly, but I had, a fair amount of money for a kid my age. And so I was able to fork it out, and that seemed like, ton of money at the time. And, I wasn't all that savvy about condition, because this one's got, a couple of flaws. I don't know if you can pick it up on here, but there's like a scratch. Oh, there, you can see it. See that scratch that runs down his face? So obviously, this would never grade high. And I actually did try and grade it once with PSA, and they returned it to me, and I assume is kind of a factory miscut that they wouldn't grade. They wouldn't even give it, because it's more of like a production error than a genuine miscut. And it I assume has to do with this hologram, where it's missing a portion of the hologram. And that's, was a factory production error. And one of the things that, hey, that would lead to probably a lower grade. But I tried to get this graded just because of the sentimental value of it. And then, it came back, they wouldn't grade it. So I put it back in this little display case that I had it in originally back when I was a kid. I bought this from an LCS that opened in my hometown when I was in high school, and it wasn't really much of an LCS. It was just kind of a guy who was a collector and wanted to take a stab at running one in a small town, which wasn't definitely probably the best business notion you ever had either. But Dave was the guy's name, and really good guy. But I remember I bought this little display plaque just to be able to show my Griffey card at the time, because definitely still one of my favorite cards in my collection, just for the nostalgia of what it means and what it was that we were all after this card back then. And I certainly wanted to have been able to pull one from a pack, but I just really didn't have much opportunity. So it's buying one at the time, it was a big deal to me. And it was that was $35. I don't think I'd spent more on a card, but at that point, certainly not at that point I hadn't. And it would be a good while before I would spend that much on a card again. Junk wax era here. We cards that were worth $2-3 felt like they were really expensive at the time. And anyway, I suppose that's been long enough of a story for this video. Thanks everybody for watching and listening to me ramble on again. But Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night. Take care now. Bye.